Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Here we share beginner-friendly coding tutorials on Scratch, Roblox, Minecraft, web programming, and many more. Today we're going to continue our project of Roblox City, and in the last part, we're going to make some final touches to make the city feel more alive. So for this fifth and final part of the Roblox City series, we're going to add a couple of buildings, like the hospital we can see at the background of the city. I'm going to show you what I did with the roads, and I'm going to add a script to turn a day-night cycle so the city feels more real. And let's begin. Okay, so to finish up the project of city, I looked for a couple of custom elements. I looked for a hospital, I looked for a factory, an urban house, an apartment building, the one I added for the first video, and the custom made house I made. Of course, if you want to customize any of these, you're free to do so. Just add blocks and made holes and doors as I showed you in the first video. We're going to explore the city first, and then I'm going to show you how to add the day-night cycle and the weapon. So as soon as we spawn in the city, I move the spawn center to the house I just imported. This one is full of furniture. All of the furniture, you can actually find it in the toolbox. So if you want to customize it, or if you want to make your own house, you can also do it without resorting to just importing a house from here. You can see, take a look, it has so many bedrooms. All right, let's get out of the house and let's walk to the factory. Well, actually, I'll not walk into the factory. I'll just drive to the factory. I'm going to I spawned a new vehicle since the previous ones were attached to the ground. You gotta be careful sometimes when you place new objects to disable the join surfaces option, or just to place them a little bit above the ground so that doesn't interfere with the placement of your vehicles. So I have the factory over here. If you can see that there's stuff inside. We can just walk through the side of the building here, complete with offices. I think the door, you can just walk through it. There's a couple of boxes and other things to give it more realistic look. I'll hop back into the vehicle and we'll go check out the hospital. Now it starts. Question is, can I use it again? Okay, now it's working. And this hospital, the same thing. The doors are transparent and it has a couple of functioning doors. Well, it's a small cafeteria and I guess some operating rooms. Let's take a look to the other side. Yeah, just as a basic hospital would function. Now, as you can see, the day is always the same. It will look always the same. Now it's stopped working. If someone can tell me how to reactivate these cars when they go back to neutral, I'm not really sure why it deactivates my computer. But if you know, let me know in the comments. I'm very curious about it. Now, I'll stop the game and I'm gonna be back and show you how to set up a day and night cycle here. We're going to add a new script into server script service. To do that, click on the plus sign over here and select the script option. I already have my script over here. So the next thing I need to do is to code on the script. Now, since this is going to be a repeating function, that means it's going to be repeating itself over and over again, we need to use loops to implement this function. Now, before we continue, I would like to remind you that if you enjoyed the content so far, please press like and subscribe to get more access to more videos on coding. Okay, so let's keep going. What we need to do now is implement the loops. The first step in implementing these loops is going to be to declare a local variable to know how many minutes have passed since the last midnight. So we're going to call this variable minutes after midnight and set it equal to 0. This way, we're going to start our day-night cycle at midnight, and then we're going to keep moving from there. So then we're going to create our infinite loop, okay? The infinite loop is a loop run forever. That means that it's never going to stop. How do we declare that? Well, we use the while loop to do this. While loops run as long as the condition in the middle holds true. If we put the word true in there, that means that the loop will always have the condition as true. So it will repeat itself over and over and over again. In order for this to not crash, we're going to start with a wait instruction. The wait instruction makes sure that all of the instructions don't crumple together and run at the same time, but they have some breathing room to wait for the next instruction to be run. So we're gonna add a wait 0.1 just to demonstrate how to do this. Then, before or after this instruction, it's up to you. We're going to implement how many minutes after midnight it's actually in the game. Fortunately for us, there's an instruction already set up for this. We're going to set game.lighting, which refers to, this is the game. Here's the workspace. Here's the lighting. And lighting has a lot of properties. And if you scroll back down, you can see that there's time of day. Okay, time of day can be modified by selecting minutes after set minutes after midnight. So for example, right now, the time of day is 2 p.m. or 14 hours. That means that the number of minutes after midnight is 14 times 60, which would be equal to 84, 840 minutes after midnight, okay? And we're going to set the minutes after midnight to this local variable we have over here, minutes after midnight. But if we only do it like this, it's always going to be 0. It's always going to be midnight. We need to increment this variable by a certain amount. How much? It's up to you, but we're going to change this variable by, let's say, we can do 5 so it can go fast at the beginning, but you can set up this variable as in any way that you want. Let's run and see the result. So it starts at midnight, since our script is going to set the time of day at midnight. If you see, 5 is pretty fast, so the moon came down super quickly, and the sun is just moving at lightning speed. As you can see, the number of that variable determines how fast this cycle is going to run. Also, the waiting time. We can play around with this wait time and the increment to determine what's our desired speed. If I just set it to 1 and run it again, it's not going to run as fast as it did before, but I assume it's still going to be quite fast. So we can play around with those two instructions and adjust it to your desired outcome. You see the moon is still moving faster than in real life, of course, but we still have a lot of time before it turns into day. Lastly, just gonna give the player a weapon so he can pick it up. I'm gonna do Slingshot. And I'm just gonna put it next to here. Let's try with this one. Now, good thing with these weapons is I can spawn them. Unfortunately, it seems that I set it too low and made it clip through the floor. So I think I might need to move it up a little bit. Maybe put it here. I'm gonna anchor it so it doesn't drop. And let's see that this time will not hopefully will not make my player clip through the floor like before. If you're curious, the thing that just happened is called clipping, and it means when you move to a position you're not supposed to be. Okay, I have a slingshot now, and I can fire these balls. And the text says reloading. It doesn't, you cannot read it when it's behind the black parts, but you can definitely read it when it's behind something that is not black. That's gonna be for today and for our series on Roblox City. I hope you enjoyed following all of our videos, and if you like it, don't forget to subscribe and wait for more content on Roblox and many other platforms for coding. Goodbye.